Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Regular Beer Reviews, where regular doesn't refer to the beers being reviewed, but to the reviewer, myself. I'm Jesse, and tonight I'm going to be reviewing a beer that I've had a couple times before. This is from Stone Brewing. It is their Arrogant Bastard Ale. I don't know if they would define this beer as being so, but I think it's their flagship beer. It's certainly the beer that everyone knows them for. Let's look at the numbers on this beer. From Beer Advocate, it gets a 93, which is outstanding, and that's with 6,966 ratings. Rate Beer gives it a 99 overall with a 98 for the style, and the Bros give it a 98, which is world class. This beer has a 7.2% ABV, a year-round availability. The style is an American Strong Ale. And I love how I tried to look up on the website what the IBUs for this beer are, and it just says classified. I love that they give it that distinction. It's clearly not for us to know. And I mean, literally, there's no sarcasm there or anything. I love it's Arrogant Bastard Ale, and I love the kind of air of arrogance they have about this beer because they have a right to. This beer is amazing, but we'll get into that with the review. If you didn't know, Arrogant Bastard Ale is brewed by the Stone Brewing Company out of Escondido, California. The only other review I've ever done on a Stone beer is their IPA, which I found to be absolutely exceptional. I gave it a 10 out of 10. I've had a few of their other beers. I've had their Pale Ale and their Levitation Ale, and I've really liked them all. So, anyway, let's read the review that's on... let's read the description. Let's read what it says on the back here. It says, Arrogant Bastard Ale. Arrogance, and I love how it gives a definition of the word. It says, arrogance, the act or quality of being arrogant. Haughty, undue assumption, overbearing conceit. This is an aggressive beer. You probably won't like it. It is quite doubtful that you have the taste or sophistication to be able to appreciate an ale of this quality and depth. We would suggest that you stick to safer and more familiar territory, maybe something with a multi-million-dollar ad campaign aimed at convincing you it's made in a little brewery, or one that implies that their tasteless, fizzy yellow beverage will give you more sex appeal. Perhaps you think multi-million-dollar ad campaigns make things taste better. Perhaps you're mouthing your words as you read this. I read that and just fucking fell out. At Stone Brewing, we believe that pandering to the lowest common denominator represents the height of tyranny, a virtual form of keeping the consumer barefoot and stupid. Brought forth upon an unsuspecting public in 1997, Arrogant Bastard Ale openly challenged the tyrannical overlords who were brazenly attempting to keep Americans chained in the shackles of poor taste. As the progenitor of its style, Arrogant Bastard Ale has reveled in its unprecedented and uncompromising celebration of intensity. There have been many nods to Arrogant Bastard Ale, even outright attempts to copy it, but only one can ever embody the true nature of liquid arrogance. And I love this. It says, ingredients. Nothing but the finest barley, most aggressive hops, clearest water, our proprietary yeast strain, and abundant arrogance. Yeah, I've had this beer a few times before. It is good. I will say this, if you've never had it, and if you're into craft beer and you're into stronger beers and you've never had it, definitely try it. But I don't want people who aren't into craft beer and who really do drink a lot of that fizzy yellow, liquid as it talks about. If you drink the big three, if you drink other cheap, a lot of other cheap adjunct lagers or ice beers or malt liquors or anything like that all the time, and that's what you like, you try this, you're probably not going to like it. It is definitely an acquired taste, but once you've acquired the taste for it, it's one of the best beers you're ever going to have. So let's go ahead and get this poured. It said on, I believe it was Beer Advocate, I believe it said use a snifter or a tulip, so I'm going to use the snifter here. Go ahead and get this poured. That is gorgeous. That is what a beer should look like. Oh man, look at that. So let's go ahead and get an appearance on this. It is a nice kind of dark brown, nice copper color. Getting a lot of red tinges coming through there. It's clear, but it certainly doesn't look triple filtered. It has a good amount of carbonation streaming up, but at the same time it's still moderate. I wouldn't say it's super heavy carbonation. It has a nice kind of tan, nice light tan head. Um, Maybe a khaki color, as some would put it. It looks creamy, kind of small bubbles. Beautiful looking beer. Let's go ahead and give this a smell. Man, that smells good. Alright, you're getting hops. Kind of piney, really, like, it's not overpowering the smell, but you get those piney, really concentrated, oily hops kind of there, right up front. And then you smell this sweet, kind of caramely, malty backbone. It's really robust, really roasty, really sweet. You're getting a lot of dark fruit in there. I'm smelling like a lot of raisins and prunes. It smells sweet. Slight hints of like spice notes, maybe even like maybe the slightest little cinnamon tinges or something. This isn't a beer brewed with spices, but it is complex, and it has those just kind of spice notes dangling out there, like maybe like a cinnamon or a nutmeg, maybe a little sage. And then, I mean, you get this wonderful fruitiness there as well, like a citrusiness. It's kind of from the hops. It's kind of from that dark fruit smell. It almost smells like a ruby red grapefruit or something. It smells really good. So let's go on ahead and jump into this. Oh man, that is what good beer should taste like. This is extremely bitter. They list the IBUs as classified, but I would guess they have to be at least around 70. At least around 70. The bitterness hits you right up front and lingers throughout the palate, but the bitterness doesn't hinder your ability to enjoy the complexity of the beer. Such a sweet maltiness that hits kind of mid to back of the palate. Sweet malty. It really reminds me of like a dark bread, like rye bread or something. But then there's this really sweet character to it as well. I mean, you can taste the caramel notes. You can taste the toffee, maybe a little bit of chocolate or coffee. Not quite as dark as chocolate, but a little coffee. You can taste those really robust, roasty malts. They're so good, and they really balance with that bitterness well. And I would almost say at the back of the palate, there's a little bit of a bitterness from the roasty malts as opposed to the hot bitterness at the front of the beer. But it balances really well. You get those dark fruits in the flavor definitely. Sort of more towards the end of the palate, whereas you're tasting the malts, you're tasting those dark malts, and then kind of the sweetness, it flows in. It has a really fruity character. It tastes again like prunes or dates or raisins or something. Just those dark dried fruits that are really heavy, really high in calories. Also, the hoppiness at the front is so oily and so prevalent. It's really good. Really super piney hops. I mean, I've never had it, but I would love to have this beer on tap. Because, I mean, they're all the way in California. I didn't look for... Might have a freshness date on here. I didn't look for a freshness date. But I'm guessing even at its freshest, where I get it, I probably enjoy by 2/21/14. So it's still in... it doesn't go bad until next month. Till February. Well, it doesn't... It's not saying it's going to go bad. It has a 7.2% ABV, but you're not really going to be able to enjoy this hoppiness after that point because it is going to subside. But I'm guessing I could probably get a bottle of this. I mean, if I really looked, I could probably find one here. But out west, I could probably find a bottle of this, or if we even got it on tap, like out in California, you could probably get it super fresh. I mean, it was just made, and I bet I mean, this is amazing as is, but I bet, you get it super fresh and it would blow this out of the water. This is a really good beer. It's funny that they mention that, if you're not an experienced beer drinker, you're probably not going to like this beer, because I have quite a few friends that have tried this beer. One of them who I got to try this beer, and they couldn't stand it because they only like, the big three. And you really do have to have a sophistication to be able to appreciate this beer and just really understand the complexity and just enjoy how delicious it is. I mean, this is a really, really tasty beer. I really love this beer. I'm gonna give Arrogant Bastard Ale a 10 out of 10. This is a really, really good beer. Again, this is only, I've had it maybe 4 times before this, maybe. I don't really see it a lot, but it's a beer. The first time I had it, I liked it, but I wasn't really able to really enjoy all the flavors and the complexity. And I mean, I'm by no means an expert. There's stuff in here that I'm not even able to put into words. This is a really, really good beer. So if you see Arrogant Bastard Ale, pick it up, definitely. If you're a craft beer, drinker, if you're a hop lover, if you love really complex beers, pick it up, try it. It's really, really good. Because of the hop character in the beer, it's not really cellarable even at 7.2%, but it is a really good beer. I love this beer. Even if I got a case of this stuff, it'd probably be gone before, I wouldn't be able, even if it was cellarable, it'd probably be gone before I could cellar it. Because, I just love this stuff. But, anyway, again, 10 out of 10 for Arrogant Bastard Ale. If you see it, pick it up. It's a great beer. It's really, really good. If you love this beer, it's certainly, at 7.2%, it's not exactly sessionable, I wouldn't say. Excuse me, because you drink a couple of these bombers and you're going to be, you're going to be good. But, excuse me. But, it's definitely drinkable if you enjoy this. I could drink this all day. It's just satisfying. It's just satisfying. It's a good beer. So, again, 10 out of 10 for Arrogant Bastard Ale. If you see it, pick it up. I love this beer. I think you will too. Thank you for watching, and keep watching again in the future for more reviews. Post.